Hey, what up, guys? I'm doing my first story time video here, and I'm also using my first mic, so accomplishing two things at the same time, I guess you would say. Anyways, my first story time here, so let's get into it. This one is about my library teacher. Now, most of you guys probably don't know her. Some of you guys go to my school, so you know her. She's, one of those super strict types, overly strict. Like, you can literally whisper something, and she'll be like, "Nope, nope, you're done. You're absolutely done." What? This was about the time that I basically got detention for like 2 hours just because I was helping my friend. Now, at our school, we have this thing where every day you have a different specials, and today was library. They all go in order though. But we were walking in a line to library, and when we got there, we were doing this thing where you gotta grab a folder from the table, go sit down at a computer, log in and all that crap, and what you would do is you would go write down your grades, and then you would go work on this weird website about this book you were writing about. I don't get why we were doing it, but that was what we were doing. But I went and sat down. My friend, we're gonna call him Jonathan for now. Now, he has these this condition. It isn't a bad one. I don't hold it against him. He's still a very good friend to me. Now, this condition makes it so that way he's, he doesn't really focus a lot. He can easily get off track. Now, I easily get off track, but he also has where he can also overly freak out. Now, I don't mean like freak out like I'm gonna kill somebody and all that. No, I'm talking about where if he doesn't understand something and a teacher's making him mad, he literally starts talking to him like, I don't care, I don't understand this stupid crap. He doesn't yell it out, he just says it normally. Now, I gotta give him, I'm actually pretty surprised because if I was him, I'll basically be yelling at the teachers, but he tries to hold it together, and he's doing a good job of that. But lately he's been getting kicked out of media. That's what we call it. Instead of library, we call it media. Anyways, he's been getting pretty much kicked out, or he has to sit at a table. Mostly kicked out though. And he didn't really understand what was going on. It was his first time starting up the website. So he was complaining to the teacher and all that crap. Like, I don't know what to do. She was trying to explain it to him, but she wasn't exactly explaining it too well, if I could say myself. And she isn't very good at helping somebody calm down, so she was just basically making it worse. Now, when she walked away, I went and told him what you were supposed to be doing. He pretty much understood it after that. Like, I told him, okay, what you gotta do is because what he did wrong was he was writing about, something random. What he didn't know was you were supposed to actually be writing about a book. So I'm like, okay, what you gotta do is you gotta choose the book you're writing about. You just basically go to the book website on the computer and look it up for the library thing, and then you go find that book, read it, and write about it. He's like, oh, okay. But of course, that teacher has like eagle vision or something. Like, I don't know how the heck she seen me. She was far away. She just walks all the way towards me. She's like, can you go shut down your not shut it down. Can you log off your computer and go sit over at the table? I'm like, why? She's like, just because. And I'm like, hallelujah, I didn't care. I hate this website anyways. That's what I said. So I walked over there. By the way, guys, that was kind of rude to say to her, but, for all the other stuff she's basically, said to me for, she completely deserves it, because all the stuff she said next. Sat down at the table, I'm like, so what am I here for? She's like, for talking. I'm like, I was explaining to him what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm like, I don't care, you were talking. I'm like, oh my freaking god. I have to sit here because of helping a friend. I say other stuff like that, like, why didn't you just warn me and crap like that? And, she brings over this weird sheet thingy. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have this at your schools unless you go to my school, but it's this sheet with a different questions, like, of all the stuff you did wrong and what you were supposed to be doing. Like, the first question is, what were you doing? The second one was, what are you supposed to be doing? And then I don't know the other questions. And then the last one is, you're supposed to sign your name. And what it says is, I fully intend to put this plan to action. Now, in my opinion, it's stupid to make kids sign that, considering at my school, you don't get an option. You're forced to sign it. Now, what I did, guys, is I somehow avoided to sign it in the end, but, well, I didn't avoid to sign it. I kind of made it my own. You'll see what I mean at the end, guys. But what I did was I said, I'm not signing this. She's like, oh, really? So what she did was she kicked me out of the room, and she basically brought me across the hall to, you know what, we're gonna call this teacher Mr. Jerry. Now, Mrs. Jerry. Now, when we walked across, and then she somehow, like, in a split, like, 2 seconds, she managed to make a deal with the teacher saying that I will not say a single word to her, because, it was kind of like her own little private lunch time or something. Like, we're still in that grade where we still have lunch and recess time. So, everybody was still outside, and she was just sitting in the room eating, pretty much enjoying her time. And I don't blame her. I would probably tell that kid to be quiet too. And, I respected her because she was a good teacher. I had her last year. So, Mr. Jerry, Mrs. Jerry gave me that, like, look, like, it wasn't a grin or a smile. It was just that look, like, what were you doing? Like, she gave me she gave me a kind of smirk. Like, it wasn't a grin or something. Like, seriously, why are you in here? Like, it was one of those kind of looks where you can tell what she's thinking. Anyways, the teacher walked away. The media teacher. The teacher I don't really like much. But she walked away. What I did was I put a giant X on the paper, waited there for a good, like, 5 minutes. And then she never came back, and, media was almost over. I'm like, did she forget about me? So I'm like, you know what, screw it. I got up, walked over there, and she's like, oh, yeah, my paper done. And I'm like, yeah. Handed it to her. She was like, where's the answer? None of this is done. I'm like, yeah, it is. She's like, there's just a giant X over the paper. I'm like, yeah, see, it is done. She's like, no, it isn't. I'm like, yeah, I filled the answers in with a giant X. So she said, okay. She took me, and we're gonna call this teacher Mr. Robert. She took me to the lunch detention teacher, Mr. Robert. So we both walk over there, and she says, make sure this paper gets done. And then he's like, can you please just be quiet and sit down and please fill that out? I'm like, fine. And he's one of those types of teachers where I understand you have to be strict as a lunch detention teacher, but he's one of those types that kind of purposely does it. Like, in my opinion, he kind of abuses the power. Like, have you guys ever had one of those, teachers that you despise and they're so strict, they tell you how to sit? Like, there was a couple times he told me to turn around. I understand I wasn't supposed to be sitting that way. Supposed to be staring at the wall. I wasn't supposed to be talking. That was all my fault. But then, I'm one of those types that has one leg under the table and one leg on, like, the other side. It's kind of how I sit. It's the most, in my opinion, it's the most comfortable way for me to sit. At those chairs, I really hate chairs, in a way, because they're not comfortable unless you sit that way. That's my opinion. But he really gets on my nerves. He's super strict. So what I wrote down, what were you supposed to be doing? Doing a website. What are you going to do? I wrote down publicize this. And I wrote down a ton of other answers I don't remember, but they are all kind of similar and all that crap. And then at the very end, I signed my name. It said, I will fully intend to put this plan to action. And then at the bottom, I wrote down in small letters, have fun with a smiley face. And, I gave it to the lunch detention teacher. He's like, no, she's not gonna accept this. Go get your lunch. And I'm like this, but I did it, and you don't know till you try. He's like, no, she's not gonna accept this. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I walk down to lunchroom, get my lunch, and I walk back. And he basically followed me there. Because, that's what you're supposed to do. Make sure they don't skip it. And walk back. And I pretty much ate my lunch. He's like, are you gonna do it now? And I'm like, nope. I never redid it. Never did none of that crap. Because I ain't signing. I ain't doing it any other way. It's either an X or those answers. And I'm basically telling the truth. What are you going to do now? Publicize it. It's what I'm doing right now. This teacher, he told me like less than a week ago, like a day or two ago or something, because, I was there a lot, because for some reason we have this is my bad luck, guys. There's these two specials. They're both similar teachers. One is worse than the other. I still haven't decided yet which one's worse. They're both pretty bad. But, I get sent there kind of a lot on those couple of days that I have those specials. I really despise them teachers. Anyways, I get sent there. And then, I was basically he told me like a couple days ago or something like that, if I see my class walking back to the room, I could throw my lunch away and walk with them. So that's what I did. Walked back to the room. All these smart kids, that really never pay attention to me, never really give a crap, don't really laugh at me, nobody really pays attention. Anyways, they all asked me, like, what the heck did you do? And I'm like, I do not know. She basically sent me back for no reason whatsoever. So many people, like, all agreed that I was sent there for nothing. But I have one of those types of teachers. She's a really nice teacher, but she's basically had enough of me. Sorry, guys, if you could hear that. I accidentally hit my Chromebook twice by accident with my phone. But, anyways, for some reason, she's one of those teachers where if she's irritated enough, which, I would be irritated too if I was a teacher, but she, for some reason, took the side of one teacher instead of probably 25 kids who said I did nothing. She took the side of a freaking teacher, one teacher out of 24 kids probably, okay? I think it's 24. Anyways, I'm like, are you kidding me? Nobody takes my side. Nobody ever believes me except, a couple of my close friends. Because most of my friends moved away. Or, they're so far away. From my class, I barely ever get to see them. So I probably only have one or two people that takes my side in that class. But this time, almost half of the entire class tried to back me up. But no, the one time crap like that happens, the teacher decides, nope, you're still lying. All the kids in the classroom are lying. And I'm like, what the frick? So, anyways, I see the detention teacher walk up. He's like, Anthony, can you come with me? I'm like, what the frick do you want? I never said that, but that's what I'm thinking. So, I walk with him, and then he's like, did I tell you can leave? But I literally said to him, you literally told me that, when my class, leaves to go back to class, I can walk with him. He's like, I didn't tell you this time. I'm like, oh my god. I said to him, literally, what's the point? And then somehow, by the way, keep in mind, guys, the teacher out in the hall, when she see me walking back from the detention room, she literally told me we were going to have this party thing, but we had to pay with this thing called dojo points. Now, we get it for doing, our class jobs. Pretty simple jobs like turning off the lights, cleaning up the room. Yeah, it was a good idea. But she literally said, if I get sent back from specials one more time, she'll make me pay for the party and not be able to attend it. That's her exact words. I'm like, what the frick is wrong with that? What's wrong with you? So, as we walk out of the room, by the way, I'm still with the detention teacher. My regular teacher left the room, and somehow, this is my luck, guys. She was just walking back, and I didn't notice her on the other side of the hall. I don't know why. I must be blind not to see her. But she heard me, say, what's the point? She was like, oh, what did you just say? And I'm like this. Wait, what do you mean? She's like this. Did you just say, what's the point? You don't be disrespectful to teachers. Or to grown-ups like that. And I'm like this. Whoa. You did not hear the conversation. So, unless you heard it, don't say I've been disrespectful and all that crap. She did not hear the conversation. She didn't hear what I was talking about. She didn't hear none of that crap. So she has no right whatsoever to say I was being disrespectful. And I literally flat out said that to her. And then we both walked away to the detention room. And for some reason, she told me I was going to sit in there for the rest of the class period, which is fine with me. He messaged my teacher saying to send all the work I need to do back to the room. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. It's a lot better. I mean, I'm not in the classroom. I mean, isn't that kind of ironic? You have lots of friends in the class, but you would rather be in a detention room than be in an actual classroom itself. Now, as I sat down and did my work, I did my entire writing paper. I did all that crap, except one reading thing that the questions made no sense to me. It's one of those types of books where you read it, but it doesn't make sense to you. It's like a book about turtle walks and all that crap, about, her family and all that, and turtle. I did not understand a single word they said. The only word that I actually understood was turtle walks. And Guys, the only reason why I understand the book now is because, the next day she explained what the book was about, concerning it was a super long book and none of us wanted to read it. Anyways, so I couldn't do that work because I didn't understand it, and he's one of those teachers that doesn't exactly really help you. He just keeps on reminding you to do your work, which is really annoying. Now, there was another kid in there with me, and that he was helping a kid with his math. Now, I mean, he does help sometimes, but if he sees you struggling, he does not help unless you actually ask. Now, I'm pretty sure that he could not help me with this, concerning it was like it took me an hour to complete that book, and he could not help me with it, concerning he would have to read the book himself too to understand what was happening. And the only way he could actually help, which it would not help at all, which is kind of ironic, was all he could really do was go on the Chromebook and just repeat the questions. Which, how is that gonna help me? If there's any teachers, like, how is rereading the questions gonna help? If you have to read an entire book to understand it. If they don't understand the book, how is rereading the questions gonna help? Like what's not like they ask you a question on it. I didn't understand the book. What do you expect for them to reread the questions to you? Oh my god, I understand the entire book. Oh my god, I'm so smart. No, it's not gonna work like that, guys. Like, any kid or anything, or any teacher grown up that thinks I'm being disrespectful right now. No, I am not, guys. I'm just telling you the freaking truth. But anyways, I sit down. Anyways, now, other than that assignment I didn't really understand, I had one more thing to do, and that was redo the think it over sheet. And I said, hey, that's the best you're gonna get. I'm not redoing it. You could tell the teacher that. And for the last hour, he was just straight up bothering me. He kept walking to me every 5 minutes because he helped the kid, and then he would walk over to me. So, are you gonna redo it now? Now, guys, at probably the last 45 minutes left of until school was over with, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna redo it. That's the best you're gonna get. Now you can go tell the teacher that. And then he's like, okay. Now, even though he was bothering me every 5 minutes, it did work out fine, considering I was supposed to get a phone call home. That teacher literally forgot to make sure I called home. So I got to skip a call home, guys. And since I didn't do that paper she told me I would have to do it next week, she completely forgot to make me do it next week too. And the good part was I got all my work done basically, and I got to stay out of class for almost an entire hour. So it was beautiful. It worked out just fine for me. But other than me still being mad at the teacher, it did work out fine in the end. So, guys, the next story I might do is, my technology teacher, the second teacher I was talking about, saying that I'm not a big fan of her either. She's kind of just as bad as her. But I'll tell you that in the next video, guys. And as always, guys, I'm gonna start saying them now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, you don't have to like or subscribe or do any of those. I'm just saying it would really help this channel out, guys. So, if you would like to do that, or if you want to be a good person, please do all that. And until next time, peace, guys.